Today I wanted to talk about an episode of Timcast IRL, actually, that I was watching, and the strange topic that came up, because it's just insane what's happening across the world right now with genetics and manipulation and trying to make superhumans superhuman. Hello, my online friends. Welcome back to the D_rock_YT vlog podcast, whatever you want to call it. Please like and subscribe, support this channel. Today I wanted to talk about an episode of Timcast IRL, actually, that I was watching, and the strange topic that came up, which ties into end time events that we've been talking about on this channel, because it's just insane what's happening across the world right now with genetics and manipulation and trying to make superhumans, and just the collision of science, bioethics, of manipulation of genetics and stuff like that that's going on, using hybrid animal crosses with humans. There's stuff happening that never would have happened, 10 years ago, maybe more than that. There were some strict laws in place, and it seems like, I don't know what country threw it out first, but it might have been the US, actually, based on some of the stuff that's been going on. And countries just don't care anymore about bioethics. So they are experimenting and in every way they can. And it kind of relates to the whole devaluation of humans that has happened, with abortion on demand, fetal tissue being used in research, even with vaccine testing and manipulation. They've used fetal tissue to enhance testing and production of vaccines and other things. So that's been happening, but also there's been other stuff happening. So I just want to listen in on this Timcast, little portion of this Timcast from last night. Excuse me, I've got a frog in my throat. Ribbit. Sorry, that was lame. Okay. So yeah, let's just tune in and listen to this.
And then he spilled
Okay, Luke, you're making really great points, but instead of talking about EcoHealth Alliance, can we point out the men who stared at goats? Do you guys know that one?
A little bit.
When the U.S. government was experimenting with psychic powers, don't you want to join the military's psychic powers division?
Oh my God.
Because at this point, it's not covert anymore.
Okay, so they were just talking about, testing and stuff that's been done and how people don't want to join the army now. They're opting out because of some of the woke stuff that's going on, but also, some of the different testing and stuff that the U.S. has been doing. That was already discussed a little bit, but then Luke's going to bring up another topic here, so just listen in.
We know that they're developing psychic technology. We know that those things are real. So propaganda, make that your military recruiting
There's
strategy.
also MK Ultra. There's also mind control. There's also a whole bunch of stuff and a lot of really inhuman psychological and physical experiments that they have been doing on a lot of human beings that are unsuspecting of a lot of these experiments that they're participating in, that they have been tested on without even their knowledge. There's an article here that's pretty interesting by the South China Morning Post that's reporting how a team of Chinese scientists are behind splicing animal genes into human genes in order to lead to super soldiers who could survive nuclear fallout and be resistant to radiation. So this is something that's already happening in China, and it's probably financed by the United States.
Here's the article that Luke just mentioned.
Okay, so Lara Trump is the guest that's on the show on this night. But yeah, here's Tim bringing up the article in China Science publication, that is. Let me just see if I can find it. So I have the article here as well. This is the South China Morning Post. This is their science section of that article. So let's listen back in again.
Chinese team behind extreme animal gene experiment says it may lead to super soldiers who survive nuclear fallout. Modified human embryonic stem cells showed supernatural resistance against radiation, according to a paper by Academy of Military Sciences team in Beijing. Shanghai-based scientist says study may open can of worms, particularly when funding is involved. And they show a water bear there for some reason, a tardigrade. Now, the funny thing...
Those are the weirdest looking things.
You know, this was... Okay, Fallout video games. This is a component of the story that the writers created for that video game. Fallout is a story where there's a nuclear war, wipes everybody out, tons of people move into vaults, and there's something called the forced evolutionary virus that attempts to make humans more resistant to radioactive fallout, so they give people the virus to alter their genes. Instead, they get sterilized and their brain capacity diminishes. I don't know about whatever this is all about, but it is funny to me when you see works of fiction in some fashion be replicated by scientists. And I think it's because people who are writing fiction are imagining what the future could be like with the technology we're developing. And these stories
Well, I'll give
persist.
you some fictitious future. A bunch of these guys with radiation resistance get a hold of the nuclear weapons and light the world up so that they're the ones that are left.
Now you're talking about Wrath of Khan.
They actually embedded tardigrade DNA into human embryonic stem cells to gain radiation resistance. This
Yes.
is amazing.
Yes.
Is that what it was, tardigrades?
Yeah.
Yes.
I thought it was
Tardigrade
embryonic
DNA.
stem cells.
They put it into embryonic stem cells,
Wow.
the tardigrade
Wow.
genes.
And then they give it to soldiers.
So
and then
Thanks.
now you're talking about Wrath of Khan, where in Star Trek, humans genetically engineered themselves to become better, and then the genetically engineered people said, we're superior to them, and so then the humans were like, we got to get rid of these super soldiers, they're really bad. Sent them into outer space, froze them basically. I think I may be getting the story wrong, but that's generally the idea.
Yeah. Military.com has another very interesting article that's titled "The Future U.S. Military Super Soldier May Be Closer Than We Think." So these projects, again, I was just speculating that they probably are in existence, and they are. So
What year? What is this? What's the date on this one? We have it right here. I don't see a date though.
Military.com's great.
Yeah, there's no date on this.
Military.
Though it may not look like the process that Steve Rogers went through. It may be coming within the next 30 years.
That's it.
And then there's a famous saying, whatever you think the U.S. military has, it's usually 30 years behind for what it already has right now.
Dudes are going to be able to breathe underwater, like
Yeah.
not have to breathe. They'll be able to see super far at night. Super clear.
But why do this when we already have the robot dogs with guns and those Boston Dynamics robot people?
Because
Yes.
robots can't secure street corners
Yes,
and
they
they can
can.
get shut down by EMPs.
Robots can perhaps. I wonder if they can do a Faraday shield over some of these robots. That probably would. I mean, I don't. They would be pre-programmed AI. I don't know how you control them.
So, just this whole discussion that it's even a discussion is mind blowing. That we are going there now. So it really plays into this end times consideration where a bunch of stuff's going to go down. There's a lot of moral ethics decay that happens in the end times. Wars and rumors of wars and earthquakes and famines and all these things must come, Jesus said, but this is not the end yet. But when you see these things, just be alert, be on guard. So let me pull up a scripture on that, actually. As he was sitting on the Mount of Olives, this is Matthew 24, verse 3, the disciples came to him privately saying, "Tell us, when will these things happen, and what will be the sign of your coming and of the end of the age?" And Jesus answered and said to them, "See to it that no one misleads you, for many will come in my name, saying, 'I am the Christ,' and they will mislead many people. And you'll be hearing of wars, rumors of wars. See that you are not alarmed, for those things must take place. But that is not yet the end. For nation will rise against nation, kingdom against kingdom, and there will be famines and earthquakes in various places. But all these things are merely the beginning of birth pains. Then they will hand you over to tribulation and kill you. You will be hated by all nations because of my name. And at that time many will fall away, and they will betray one another and hate one another. And many false prophets will rise up and mislead many people. And because lawlessness is increased, most people's love will become cold. But the one who endures to the end is the one who will be saved. This gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in the whole world as a testimony to all the nations, and then the end will come." Jumping down to verse 29, But immediately after the tribulation of those days, the sun will be darkened and the moon will not give its light. Stars will fall from the sky and the powers of the heavens will be shaken. And then the sign of the Son of Man will appear in the sky. And then all the tribes of the earth will mourn, and they will see the Son of Man coming on the clouds of the sky with power and great glory. And he will send forth his angels with a great trumpet blast, and they will gather together and they will gather together his elect from the four winds, from one end of the sky to the other. So the angels will do that. Parable of the fig tree, verse 32. Now learn the parable from the fig tree. And this is what I'm talking about, the signs, understanding the signs. It says, as soon as its branches has become tender and sprouts its leaves, you know that summer is near. So you too, when you see all these things, recognize that he is near, right at the door. Truly I say to you, this generation will not pass away until all these things take place. Heaven and earth will pass away, but my words will not pass away. But about that day and hour no one knows, not even the angels of heaven, nor the Son, but the Father alone. For the coming of the Son of Man will be just like the days of Noah. For as in those days before the flood, they were eating and drinking, marrying, giving in marriage, until the day that Noah entered the ark, and they did not understand until the flood came and took them all away. So will the coming of the Son of Man be. At that time there will be 2 men in the field, one will be taken, and one will be left. 2 women will be grinding at the mill, one will be taken, and one will be left. Therefore be on alert, for you do not know which day your Lord is coming. So there's a lot of things in there. It also goes on to talk about the abomination of desolation being set up in the holy temple, standing in the holy place in Judea, which is, the Temple Mount is a whole big part of the end times, and just how that fits in, and how, Jerusalem's such a key to the end times. I'll talk more about those things. I actually, like I've said, I've got a guest speaker that's going to be coming on, and we'll get into some of that. But just know that perilous times are coming. All these kind of technological advances that we're seeing, they all tie into this need for us to be ready. Get ourselves in order, get our hearts right with God, and live our lives as though he could be coming at any time. And that doesn't mean checking out of the world and, just living too heavenly minded to be any earthly good type attitude. What it means is being in the world with the love of God, interacting with the world, and sharing the good news of who Jesus is, being found serving God in this world even more as we see, and encouraging our fellow believers and those who don't know God yet to come and receive the free gift of salvation. That's the point of my channel. That's where I've pivoted with this channel, is that I want to be a place that proclaims the good news of Jesus, because the signs are all here for the end times. Now, that doesn't mean that the end times are going to happen. It could be another 1,000 years before Jesus returns. Don't know for sure, but man, it seems like we're getting close. So that's why I'm proclaiming Jesus more on this channel, getting bolder in that, and wanting to share his love with you, and asking you to come and give your life to God. And the Bible says, Romans 10:9 and 10, that if you confess with your mouth that Jesus Christ is Lord and believe in your heart that God raised him from the dead, you shall be saved. And that's the key. Bring yourself to God. Doesn't matter where you're at. Doesn't matter what sin you're in right now. God says, forget about that. Just as you are, come to me. Those things will fall away later. God will deal with those later, and then he'll deal with it in different ways with different people. Come to realize that it's not one shoe fits all. It's God working with you, because he knows you personally better than you know yourself, and he will lead you through on the path to righteousness. And that's where we all need to be. So I'm praying for you. Please like and subscribe to support this channel. Bless you guys, and I thank you very much. I'm trying to get up over. I just finally broke the 100 subscribers goal. My next goal is 1,000 subscribers. So if you could help share this channel, I would really appreciate it. And God bless you. Bye for now.